Shalom, salam, hotep, peace, howdy. My name is Shophar, and thank you for coming and checking out this introductory video to FoSho Energy Work with Shophar. In this introductory video, I want to go over who I am and the work that I do, how it's done, and what to expect from a session with this work, and then also how to get in contact with me. And just go over some basics with this line of work. So first off, my name is Shophar, as I've said, and I'm originally from the East Coast. I was born in Queens, New York, raised in Richmond, Virginia, 804, 2 up, 2 down, VA. And I've been here in San Diego. I live in San Diego now, San Diego, California, and I've been here for 7 years. But I started off in Virginia, and growing up there, I was introduced to Judaism and the Kabbalah, the higher teachings, the Tree of Life stuff with that system when I was 11 years old. My mom, she converted over to Judaism, and she studied with that for about 3 or 4 years, I believe it was. And in that time, I was introduced to a lot of different concepts and thoughts. I was a child still, but I paid attention to some of it. And I definitely, at some points, I actually started getting into the Pentateuch, the Torah, and the Old Testament, these things, and I found all that stuff interesting. So I've always kind of had an inclination towards spirituality or religion or interest in these things. Fast forward in 2002, I met a gentleman by the name of Yao Morris, and this gentleman is a master of Tantra, Qigong, and the Kemetic Tree of Life, which is just an extension or where the Jewish system originally came from. And so the Kemetic or ancient Egyptian is where I learned the Tree of Life. And it's through Yao Morris that I actually started just really going deeper into these things as well. Particularly, Tantra and Qigong. Qigong being Chinese, roughly translated, it means breath work. And so this is a whole idea that there's different ways to breathe to affect your health. The organs are called that because just like instruments, organs, musical instruments, our negative emotions let us know what's out of tune, what is not in harmony with us and everything. So we can use our negative emotions, and this is what the Chinese teach with Qigong and acupuncture and things of this nature, that you can know what energies in your body and in your spirit are out of harmony by what negative emotions or thoughts are showing up. So anyway, Qigong is a whole system of breath work to bring those energies back into balance. So I learned Qigong and Tantra with Master Yao Morris, and studied with him for 5 years, from 2002 to 2007. And then in 2007, he introduced me to another master, a gentleman by the name of Nitiyama. And, just meeting Nitiyama and everything, I have to tell you the quick story about that. The way I met, the way I came about understanding this energy work is Yao called me and two of my buddies over to his house. He put a DVD on, and on this DVD, there was this woman laying on the table. And then there was this guy, he was sitting there, and the woman was naked, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And he was like, no, just watch it. I was like, well, we don't need to watch it, if it's, what's going on? And he was like, just chill, watch the video. So we watched it. And, the guy starts waving his hand over the woman. Those of you familiar with Reiki or some different energy modalities, you know what I'm talking about. This may be a new concept for some of you, but he just started waving his hand over the woman. And at first, I had never seen anything like this. At first, the woman, there was nothing really too much going on for about maybe 15-20 minutes. Then after that, she started moving around a bit, face started getting red, and I'm like, okay. And next thing you know, she just started orgasming. And as a young man, seeing that, I just I want to learn that. Like, show me how to do that. My mind just right away was blown, because he wasn't touching her. Mind you, he wasn't touching her, and was yet having this effect on the woman. So I'm like, it kind of I felt like it was like Star Wars or something. So anyway, Nitiyama shortly thereafter came to Yao's house and they did a workshop together. And in that workshop, I saw some of the most amazing things. Like I saw him in a live demo work on a woman, same concept and everything, and the woman went through all these different emotions. She went from crying, and she went through laughing, and then orgasming, and then after all of that subsided, she went into this deep state of peace that we hear about the Buddha and these monks or whatever going into. Well, I saw it and I felt it firsthand. She just went into this very peaceful place, and the waves of peace that was just coming off of this woman. I thought then, I was like, if we did this to 10, 20, 100 people in very bad areas, I bet the crime rate would go down. I bet it would have an effect on how people were treating each other. That's how powerful the peace was that was coming off of this woman. And that was just one person. So right there, I saw through sexuality, you have a profound effect on the person's being, and the environment can be affected as well. It's like it was a portal had been opened through this woman, and peace was just coming through. It was amazing. So I was sold at this point. I was like, I want to learn this. I'm on board. And 2007, that was my journey. I began with Yao and with Nitiyama, taking both of their teachings, reading books, and there was no formalized teaching and everything because they don't have like a class for this. It's kind of passed on master to master, student, that type of thing. But anytime I could get them on the phone and get in their ear a little bit, ask some questions, I was all about that. That's what I was doing. So in 2011, to augment my understanding, to take it up a notch of what's going on with our energy bodies, I started studying Chinese acupuncture and herbs at a school here in San Diego called Pacific College of Oriental Medicine. I'm still in that school now, and I'm about midway through the program. But I went there and started studying because it was like I wanted to know some more, just put everything together that I had been exposed to and get some different understanding, some different ways of viewing it. And it all came together very well. In 2014, I started doing this professionally myself. So from 2007 to 2014, I just did this for that 7 years in my own personal life. And now in 2014, I started doing it professionally. And that's how I came about this energy work. That's how I came into this. And, I'm very excited about where this is going. I'm excited about what has already transpired, but the vision of where this is going to go, I see big things for it. What can you expect from, so why sexuality? That's what I get some questions about. Because sexuality is what, I was taught brought us to the planet. Your mom and your father came together and created you. And if we are out of balance with that core energy around our beliefs, our feelings, whatever it is, if we're somehow off with that, it affects all aspects of your life. Because we are holistic beings. We like to compartmentalize and put things into different little pieces, but ultimately everything still comes together. So we can't have our sexual life over here and then our career and then who we are over here with this set of friends and think that it's not all still connected with some common thread. That common thread is your sexuality. And by sexuality, I want to be clear, I mean who you are as a spirit being and then who you are as a sensual being or body. When you bring those two energies together, that is sex. Sex is happening all the time around us. When atoms come together, H2O, when two hydrogens meet with that one oxygen, that's sex. So to expand the concept of what sex is and take it out of the bedroom, as far as just vaginas and penises, that's what this work does as well. And so, people ask, why you do it and how do you do it? How you do it, what's going on in a session? What's going on in a session is that I'm working with the energy body of the person. If you're not familiar with it, for my scientists, I'll give a real quick, guide on that from a science standpoint. There's a group called Heart Math. and they do a lot of science on the heart and how it affects the bioenergetic field, I think is what they call it. Basically, they're talking about the spirit, but they're saying it from a science standpoint. They say that the heart, being an electromagnetic or being electrical, gives off a field, just like the electromagnetic field of the earth. It gives off this field, and we can interact with it. We are interacting with each other's electro field all the time. Well, this work specifically deals with that through the thoughts and the emotions of the person that's on the table. That's what I'm interacting with to move the energy. When you move that energy, it affects the body. And so that's from a science standpoint. From a spiritual standpoint, if you've ever felt any emotions, love, joy, happiness, or anger, sadness, you felt spirit. Emotions are spirit. It's just another way of saying it. And so I like to take these different terms and ideas, these concepts, spiritual or spirit or whatever, and bring it down so that people can get it on a deeper level, and not feel that it's so esoteric or whatever. I'd like to also, really quick go over how I came up with the name of this name of the company, FoSho Energy Work. FoSho, as we know, or may not know, but FoSho, of course, is a slang term, and hopefully you have an open mind to it. You don't just, because I've had some people say, oh, you shouldn't name it that. People will think it's slang, or it may not deal with you. They may doubt your professionalism and everything. And I'm like, oh, well, they miss out, because if you judge me that quick just because you see FoSho and you don't look a little deeper, that's on you. FoSho actually also means, in Chinese, it means Buddha hands. And, so to go from just slang to also something as deep as Buddha hands. And why Buddha hands? Well, the Buddha is said to have been a being that was walking around all the time at that energy level that woman that I was telling you about on the table, with that peace emanating from it in waves. He was one of those beings that have walked on this planet who achieved that level of consciousness and was able to hold it, and then thus affect his environment around him and other people and things like that. So that's why I chose the Buddha part of it. And then hands. Our hands can give and our hands can receive. They can take, or they can block. So the hands part of it is because of the ability to be able to give and then also to receive. The whole yin and yang concepts there, or yang and yin concepts there. So that's the Buddha hand part of it. That's the FoSho part of it. And then energy, the energy is self-explanatory. But the one thing I want to say on that is that the energy is everything that we can think of. Both an apple and a thought of an apple both exist. That's how come you're able to see the apple, because you think of it. It's in your mind. It just exists at a higher vibration. So energy is everything you can think of. There's this force called Kundalini, and that's a specific vibration of the sexual energy that goes up our backs, up to our head and everything. But basically this table, everything you can think of is some kind of vibration, some kind of frequency of energy. And then work. So you got FoSho Energy Work. The work part of it, that's the gong. Remember I told you Qi Gong. Well, the work part of it is cultivation, because when a person comes to me for the work, we're partnered together cultivating the life that you want, what it is that you want, to raise to have more bliss, to have more peace, to have more wisdom, to have more intimacy with your partner. So we're cultivating these things when we do this work, and we bring all that stuff together, and that's where you get FoSho Energy Work. And so in a session, what to expect, what happens in a session, how do you do the work in a session. At the studio where the work is done, I sage the place. Sage is a herb, a Native American herb, I believe, native to America, that is used to do cleansings and to clear out bad energy, so to speak. So I use that to cleanse the space before. I also, the night before, or whatever, I put myself in a certain place where I'm really tuned into the person that's about to come. I take this very seriously. And in the session, what happened is There'll be a question, I'll ask pointed questions from my TCM, traditional Chinese medicine background, to guide me to what organ system, what part of your body, what part of your spirit may be out of alignment. So I ask these questions so that I can get to where your energy may be moving or not moving, where it may be excess or deficient. And I also take your pulse and look at your tongue. Sometimes just in a general conversation, I can already kind of pick up where you'd be benefited by the energy moving. Sometimes I like to ask more pointed questions so I can get even deeper aspects of what's going on with you. And from there, and also I'd like to make this point that I do only do the work on women, the energy work portion of it. I do Qigong counseling for the men so that they can learn how to tune into their own energy and then also their partner. So I do the energy work on women, and the reason why, and all of this is covered in my frequently asked questions on the website, but I like to just address this here as well, that because it's just like a battery. You have a positive and negative pole. The energy flows best when there's a strong dynamic like there is between a man and a woman. Can it work on a woman? Can a man work on another man, or a woman on a woman? Sure. But over time, what I believe what happen is that you're burning yourself out, because you're having the energy has to work harder to create that loop, to create that flow. So I work on the woman. I ask you questions, get a feel of where your energy is. You get on the table, and then based on those questions, I then begin the energy work. Your boyfriend or husband, a friend of yours, they're welcome to come to the session. There is a jacuzzi and a pool that they can sit at while you're getting the energy work done. So I'll be happy for them to come. As far as them sitting in on the session, I wouldn't recommend it, and the reason why is because in these sessions you want to be able to feel totally comfortable to go into whatever emotions, whatever memories, whatever comes up for you, your sexual expressions, if you're orgasming, you want to be able to be in a place where you feel totally comfortable and able to go into that. Sometimes some of these things you may think you're okay with it, but if they start to come up, maybe you might feel a tendency to hold back because your partner is there. So that's why I would say initially for the session portion of it, just to be with me and you. And when your husband or boyfriend comes in afterwards, then I can talk to him, about some of the things that we found together. And so that will help him to be able to tune into you more. So we start the session based on what I found going on with you. I will touch the hands, the feet, the head, the stomach, the back, with your permission, of course. I don't touch the breasts. I don't touch the vagina. I don't touch inner thighs. There's no fondling, no kissing, no R&B music, no a little bump and grind, R. Kelly and Keith Sweat in the background. No Barry White. Sorry, it's none of that going on. It's all very professional, and and it may be no touching at all. If I find that the person is very sensitive or the energy can be moved without touching, I don't touch. And so that's the way the session will go. It'll go about 3 hours. That's the average. Sometimes a little shorter, 2 hours. I don't like to do less than 2 hours. I like for you to at least give yourself enough time to really just have some time to really treat yourself to a moment where you can have some peace and relax, as opposed to being rushed coming and then being rushed going. Don't do it on that day. Do it on the day when you have some time to really treat yourself the way you deserve to be treated. What a concept. So about 3 hours is about how long it's going to take. Afterwards, we do a brief debriefing. We can bring the boyfriend, husband in at that point, go over what's going on with him, and close it out at that point. I do the sessions also, so do it at that studio. Then I also can be mobile. If you're in the Southern Cal or Arizona area, if it's reasonable, I'll come to you, bring my table. I can also do it by Skype or phone. So because in quantum physics is saying the same thing, time and space is an illusion, and this work brings that point home. The energy work can be done regardless of where you are on the planet. So that's not a thing that you have to be here in person. See if there's any other points. Lastly, and closing things out. So how to get in contact with me. If you see things of interest, if things that I said have sparked some interest in you, then contact me and let's talk about that. I can do a session with you over the phone. You can get a taste of it that way. I can be reached at, www.FoSho.energywork.com. So it's FoSho energywork.com. That's F as in Frank, by the way. And info at FoShoEnergyWork.com is my email address. And then my phone number is 804-306-8605. Again, that's 804-306-8605. And lastly, I'd like to just go into, people sometimes ask, well, why did you feel inclined to do this? I come from a family of very strong women, where women really influenced me a lot in my life. My father wasn't in my life, and so my mom, my grandmother, and my great aunt, so my grandmother's sister, all were very important in my life. And then I also have 4 younger sisters and 3 nieces. So, seeing what they've gone through as women, and then the women that I've dated, over the course of my life and everything, this work really spoke to me, and I saw a place for it, that the femininity of the woman in this patriarchal society has been neglected. And so when I saw this work, I was all about it. And for any of the fellas, again, I got you too. I'll teach, I can teach you the Qigong. I can show you the things that you need to do to discover on your own path. But my hand wasn't held, on this. I was pointed in a direction. I had to do my own self-inquiry, my own diligence to really come into the energy of this. But that's what it should be anyway. You don't want nobody to just hand it to you, right? So get in contact with me, FoSho Energy Work, info at FoShoEnergyWork.com, 804-306-8605. I appreciate your inquiry. I appreciate your interest, and looking forward to talking to you and getting this session done. Peace.